Great day. My topic is maximizing your wealth. I wrote a little book years ago, and I didn't really publish it much for anyone, just some of my students, and I called it Caretakers of the Wealth. And the wealth is you. You are the wealth. And it's interesting, the word mind is like mind the mind, you see. And what happens in the mind are the thoughts. And fear-based thoughts are there to make you think you're poor, that you're helpless, to focus you on virtual reality as much as possible. You know, cartoons, everything artificial, Disneyland, everything is artificial, getting us further and further away from who we really are. So then we develop caricatures of ourselves. And you'll see that, social media and all these different things that people, especially young people, and, well, we're eternal. I don't do age, no. Because I'm an eternal, and so are you. So all of these limiting ideas or concepts that we've been taught to accept and believe are very limiting, and in a sense they destroy the wealth. And that how you destroy the wealth is you convince people that they are powerless, and they're basically rule followers and order takers and all of this, and that's how others harness your wealth. And you want to keep your wealth for yourself. And when you keep your wealth for yourself, and if everybody kept their wealth for themselves, then they also share their wealth, and we all share our wealth, which is really the real secret of prosperity. Your gifts, your talents, your abilities, something that you make, food that you cook, and it's actually like becoming very simple. And when you see that the people, with younger bodies in that sense, who their entire lives have been trained in school, television, media, all of this to live in a reality that is depowering them and sucking their life force. And you wonder, well, who would do that? And that's done to take your wealth and channel it to someone else so that you become then the wealth of others. That means that your work, your endeavor, and these so-called money, the idea of money is used. And if you want to increase your wealth, you don't even have to really increase it. You just have to know it. And the wealth is you. And as a caretaker of the wealth, we're here to care for animals, just as animals care for us, ultimately. And this whole idea, people for pets, I read people taking monkeys from babies from their mothers, monkey mothers, so they could sell them as a pet. Really? And they have a right to live their lives. I lived in India. Monkeys were everywhere. We didn't kill monkeys. No. And yeah, they're kind of a pest, but we're building houses where they had forests and where they lived because of the lack of conscious awareness of living in harmony with nature and with animals and with others. And this, how we lose our wealth and our eternal existence is by going against our divine nature. And when we go against our divine nature, we're there to harm, exploit, cruelty, killing of animals and humans and nature. And so what happens to what the person thought their wealth was, they have less and less. I looked at some guy living, I don't know, Taiwan or somewhere ever, in a little teeny closet in the wall that he had to crawl into, and then his little place to live to do his job. And we'd say the planet's really overcrowded. It really is not. And what I've known, because flying all over the world and being all over the world, even in India, most everything's just farmland. But everybody goes into cities, and then because with the hope of financial abundance, for what? Well, so you have a nice house and nice living. I remember years ago when I was in Thailand and saw what they were doing with all of the child slavery and sex for children and boys and girls, and their parents would actually put them into those sex slave places in Bangkok and I don't know where else, but because so then the parents could get money and they could live in a cement house where they were living, can you imagine, in a fabulous little thatch roof cottage right on the beach where you could pick coconuts off the trees and papayas and avocados and bananas and guavas and jackfruit and all that to get a cement building where now you're living completely devoid of the vibration of nature. But we wanted to look like good enough. We wanted to look like we had something. So that's okay with our children. And if you're a parent, you really protect your child. And what we do to protect them is to help them, and it's best to be home schooled. Home educated, no schooling, educated. And that you look to see what is that child interested in. And then you support that they develop their talents, their abilities, and they always know who they are. They're not just programmed to line up and not ask questions and to be tested on this or that. And what that does is it drains a person of their creativity and their divinity. So to increase our wealth is to actually really know that you are a caretaker of the wealth. And regardless of what you've ever been taught or trained to do in this world is to go, wait a minute, this is who I am. And you establish yourself as basically a non-killing entity. That means a divine being. And you got all these people, you got all these philosophy, this is happening in the world, and this group and that group, and the politics, and who's president, who isn't president, and I'm going to get you, and we're going to get you here and there. Get right down to the basics. You killing animals? You eating animals? And you know how much human blood and flesh is in products? Cannibalism. Yeah, I'm telling you. You're going to say, well, I don't like you, Terry, because I have to eat my blood, I have to have it, I need it. Well, toodaloo, and you'll be shipped off into the next virtual reality, and your wealth is all sucked away from you because you made bad choices. People say, oh, there's no good or bad. Oh, really? There's no good or evil? Really? Where'd you get that idea? Can't you perceive what's going on? And yet at the same time, don't let what's going on knock you off your center. Don't let it emotionalize you. I'm into that fight and that fight and that fight and that fight. You're dead. Because you've been victimized, taken over, and your wealth and the wealth of humanity and the wealth of nature is just sucked up and devoured by a few who have found out basically how to hide and how to manipulate humanity because they want to be liked, they want to be like everybody else, they want to fit in, they've got their favorite actor, singer, all of this. What about you singing and dancing? What about you doing artwork? What about you and your eternal existence? So this is really key, to really know you have the wealth. Stop squandering it and giving yourself and your wealth to someone else. And when you own who you are, you become steadfast and you become strong and loving. And here's the thing, always in every choice, is it from love and mercy, or is it from fear and cruelty? Because you're doing it to yourself. This is a really important moment, and for you to make that choice within yourself, because people are doing it all the time. But you know, my tongue likes this, my eyes like this, my nose like this. Really, you're serving your 5 senses of the body? Really? Oh, that's interesting. You have no idea who you are. So, center. It's beautiful here. Be in yourself. The wealth is in you. Start fresh today. Drop the guilt. Start now. Own your wealth and be a caretaker of the animals, the children, you see, the earth, all of this. Then you are living in paradise, because the pleasure chest is in your heart. Yeah, that's where the wealth is, because you want to be happy. So, love you with all my heart.